Greetings and salutations. This is obviously your guy LITE here, and today we're going to be talking about one of the bigger narratives of this crypto cycle, and that is DePin, alongside with AI and meme coins, of course. But in terms of overall growth and interest, the numbers have been pretty much on the DePin side in terms of when we look at these growth here, and the token prices are not really that bad for some of these projects as well. And there seems to be a lot of investments, a lot of updates, and just general new infrastructure and devices being built on the DePin sector as of right now. And I think in a lot of ways, if the DePin project succeeds, they are going to be pretty good passive income throughout the bear markets, even because the demand for things like internet is still going to be there even throughout pretty negative market conditions. So in this video, we are going to be going through 5 different DePin devices which are not released yet, which you can basically ape into or maybe have opportunity to ape into soon. So let's start with the first project on this list, which is called Deep, and that is with 3 E's, and this is by NerdNode. And NerdNode, for those who don't know, is basically a hosting service for nodes. They basically run for nodes, for very specific nodes. This is for the Gala stuff, Spider Tanks, and Myria nodes. And what they are now doing is basically launching an actual device which will be giving rewards from 2 different passive income streams. So basically, you are getting rewarded from hosting other people's nodes who are being bought from NerdNode. And then obviously there's going to be minting rewards from the actual blockchain itself. So this is like based on an already established business, which is the NerdNode. And we have talked about that service, by the way, in the past, and obviously I have an article about it, which I guess I could link down below in the description about these one-click node services. Nodes are becoming more and more prevalent in terms of, well, different types of ways, and they are going to be allocating 70% of the hosting revenue to this network. So basically, hypothetical deep device, an ETH validator, a Myria node, smart node. This is how many a one node can basically run. And currently there are still, and here are some of the nodes that basically this is able to run beneath. So a lot of different options here. These are the specifications here: 32 gigs of RAM, 2.5, and no, there's the ports. It doesn't say, 1 terabyte, so that's a lot of space inside cooked in. And yes, I do have a referral link down below. This is on a bit more on the higher edge of the pricing. And so it's going to be $1,011. I believe there's 400 copies still left. I might have a coupon code for this one, which can get you some type of a discount. And then there seems to be a VAT, so that's going to be a bit more extra depending on where you live. But essentially, this is a bit more on the higher end in terms of pricing, but it is built on an existing business, which is already generating revenue. So 364 are now remaining, and the shipping is going to be commencing on October 9th. If I happen to get hands on the device, obviously I'm going to be reviewing it on the channel. But let's move on. Then we have another project called Network 3, which basically did already their sale, so you're kind of late. But I decided to add this on the reason because yes, you usually have batches where these are being sold, but usually there's going to be restock-ups. So at some point there's going to be another entry on the list. So N3 Edge version 1 has been sold out. I think it's sold out in the seconds. This has been published on all around the media, and there has been, apparently it's distributed on America. I don't know if this is actually counting like all types of DePin devices all around the world. And the team is doxed, and there has been a lot of different partners involved. One of the things why it's sold out is because it can also mine IoT, which is becoming kind of like the DePin network. They kind of have started to kind of rebrand on that direction, and that seems to be very much a focus of that network right now. So I'm really wanting to actually buy one because IoTex is a real coin with real liquidity, and there's a lot of big partners here also involved. I don't know what was the pricing of this device, And I think the Net 3 is also already listed on multiple different exchanges. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but basically this is something, and I think you can also run a node without the actual miner as well, so you can earn from this tool. But this is something you can basically put in your email here and join the waitlist for round 2. So that's what I'm gonna do here, and maybe I will get a hot copy of this. And always when I get these devices, I always try to review them on the channel and give my thoughts about it in the most honest way possible. But let's move on to the next project. We have Chirp, which we did talk about on the previous like top 10 DePin device video that I did. And it's not out yet. It's called Blackbird, and it's gonna be LoRa style network thing, a DePin device. It looks kind of interesting. This looks very outdoors, and they got 2 miners here, a mystery miner, and this is something very interesting in my opinion. And this was not here when we last time covered this project. So there's 2 miners coming out, the Blackbird and the mystery miner. The Chirp has done a couple of seed run sales. I participated on that. I haven't really getting my tokens yet, but this is something that I'm also very excited about right now in terms of like acquiring as a DePin device. But let's move on. So we don't know the price, we don't know much about it, the tokenomics, a lot of that detail is still kind of on the dark. Then we have Anyone, previously known as Ator, as we last time covered it. They did their first sale, which has been sold out, and now you can register. Well, apparently you can't. There's going to be a batch 2 coming out, and it's a plug and play setup, passive reward generation. I'm running this actually on my Helium miner right now throughout Crank, which we have talked about many times on the channel. Might have to do a whole specific video on Crank because it's so significant. And this is pretty simple. You know, you run a node and you get paid on the Ator tokens. They had token swap just recently, and it's actually been pretty well doing in terms of the chart. So the token is listed. Anybody can basically check it out. I think it's currently sitting at 443, so not too shabby in terms of the token price. I got a 1 batch of the tokens already from my miner. Still waiting for some of the coming up. But that's basically another one that's something you want to think about getting. And then lastly, we have one of these weather miners, which I would love to get, but I don't have I live in an apartment complex, so it's really hard to get one in that type of an environment. And this is a pretty cheap. So just to understand a bit of context here, they got 2 devices here. One is coming soon, which is a weather station, and this is what we call a meteograph. And I don't know the exact technological difference between a meteograph and a weather station. I think weather station might be tracking out more different types of data, and that's probably the difference. The other one seems to have a camera. And these are actually not too pricey. This is $200. And this is the early bird price. It's going to go in $259 after the event is over. And what you need to understand is that all the other weather devices, Weather XM I believe it is, which has been shilled by other YouTubers on the space, I think their devices cost like over $1,000. So this is a very affordable price point for a weather device. I don't know if you get to track your own weather data with this. Apparently you can. So that's pretty nice. And you're going to be getting weekly rewards from this device, and you can put it on your backyard. And even apparently you can take it to your camping. So you can bring it along to places, which is kind of cool. So I guess if you have a balcony, you can put it there as well. So that's pretty cool. But that's basically my top 5 of the upcoming DePin miners. There's a lot of interesting stuff coming out on the DePin space, and we can expect a lot more of new devices being announced on the upcoming months. We're seeing a lot of people obviously experiment with phones and all this types of stuff. We obviously had the Sui X Play. Maybe I should probably briefly talk about that. So yeah, I briefly talked about this on the channel news. So this is something that I did buy already. This is a gaming device, and they might have some DePin things maybe even installed inside. but it's going to be a play to earn. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of these types of devices coming in, phones and gaming handhelds and things like that, which are going to be generating you revenue. And they even might start to play around with the DePin stuff as well. But I don't really have much else to add here. In case you have some cool DePin projects you want to show, leave a comment down below and we can take a look at it on the channel. And obviously go check out my previous videos on the DePin subject, miners that I have reviewed on the channel, and yada yada yada. I will be seeing you guys on the next time on the next video. Cheers.